For hire, no loyalty, no ideology, just skill, and whoever's paying. Mercenaries are as old as war itself, and they fought in nearly every major conflict in human history, usually on both sides. Today we're following the mercenary from ancient Egypt to the private military contractors of the 21st century. Because how societies use and fear soldiers for hire tells you something important about how power actually works. The ancient world, when pharaohs outsourced war. Ancient Egypt used Nubian archers and sea peoples as mercenary forces extensively. The Sea Peoples, a coalition of Mediterranean peoples whose exact origins are still debated, served whoever paid them, fought against whoever hired their opponents, and occasionally showed up on both sides of the same conflict. By 1274 BC, at the Battle of Kadesh between Egypt and the Hittites, both sides were using foreign mercenary units. Egypt had Nubian and Libyan mercenary divisions. The Hittites had hired soldiers from across Anatolia. Two empires colliding, both partially outsourcing the actual fighting. The pattern was already established 3,300 years ago. You use your own citizens for prestige and command. You hire professionals when you need specific skills or additional numbers. The calculation hasn't changed since Ramesses II. The Greek city-states produced a surplus of trained hoplites. After the Persian Wars and the decline of large-scale Greek interstate conflict, these trained soldiers needed employment. Persia provided it. Greek mercenaries, hoplites, served Persian satraps, Egyptian pharaohs, and anyone else who could pay for their highly specialized skills. The most famous example, Xenophon's 10,000. In 401 BC, 10,000 Greek mercenaries were hired by a Persian prince named Cyrus the Younger to help him seize the Persian throne. Cyrus was killed in battle. Their employer was dead. They were deep inside Persian territory, surrounded by enemies. So they did what professional soldiers do. They fought their way home, 1,200 miles, through Persia, Kurdistan, and Armenia. Xenophon, one of their officers, a philosopher-soldier, wrote about the march in a book called the Anabasis. It's still read in military academies today. The March of the 10,000 demonstrated something crucial. A disciplined professional force, without an employer, without a state, without external supply, could sustain itself and fight its way through hostile territory better than most national armies. Professionalism, it turned out, was more durable than patriotism. The medieval period, condottieri and corporate warfare. Medieval Italy introduced something new to the mercenary tradition, the condottiere. A contractor, from the Italian word for contract, who provided not just soldiers, but entire military organizations. Condottieri commanded their own armies, negotiated their own contracts, and sold their services to Italian city-states. Florence, Milan, Venice, the papacy. All of them regularly hired condottieri, rather than maintaining permanent armies. The most famous, John Hawkwood, an Englishman who led the White Company across Italy for decades, fought for whoever offered the best contract. He switched sides multiple times, and both sides rehired him repeatedly after he switched, because he was simply that good. The condottieri system created a peculiar kind of warfare, expensive, highly professional, but also somewhat restrained. Because killing your opponents made the next contract negotiation more difficult, a dead condottiere on the other side was a future colleague unavailable for hire. Italian warfare in the condottiere era was marked by elaborate maneuver, sieges, and negotiated surrenders. Battles of annihilation were rare. Everyone had a business interest in keeping the other side's soldiers alive. The Swiss, Europe's most reliable exports, Switzerland in the 15th and 16th centuries, had a resource problem. Too many trained soldiers, not enough local work. Swiss cantons began exporting their soldiers as mercenaries across Europe. Swiss pike squares were the most feared infantry formation of the era. Disciplined, cohesive, capable of holding against cavalry. Every major European power wanted them. France, the papacy, various Italian states all hired Swiss mercenary units. The Swiss Papal Guard, which still exists today, is a direct descendant of this tradition. Young Swiss men still serve in Rome protecting the Pope. It is the oldest standing mercenary contract in the world, over 500 years old. The The Swiss mercenary tradition also produced something unexpected: Switzerland's neutrality. The Swiss were so valuable as mercenaries to so many sides that attacking Switzerland risked angering every power that employed Swiss soldiers. Military outsourcing may have produced Swiss neutrality as a side effect. Today's mercenaries don't call themselves mercenaries. They're private military contractors, security consultants, defense service providers. But the function is identical to John Hawkwood's White Company. Professional soldiers, available to whoever pays, operating outside the direct command of national militaries. Companies like Executive Outcomes, which operated in Africa in the 1990s, intervened in Sierra Leone and Angola when national armies couldn't or wouldn't act. Wagner Group, the Russian private military company, deployed in Syria, Libya, Mali, Central African Republic, and Ukraine, doing things the Russian military needed done but wanted official distance from. This is exactly the role condottieri played in medieval Italy, providing military capacity with political deniability. The same function, different era, different name. The mercenary has been present at every major turn in military history. Not because mercenaries are morally neutral, they're not, but because they reveal what states actually value in warfare versus what they claim to value. States claim to fight for ideology, freedom, national survival. And sometimes that's true. But when states hire mercenaries, they're admitting that the task at hand requires skill more than belief. That professional violence, applied precisely, is what actually changes outcomes. The mercenary has been on the winning side of more wars than any national army. Because they do the job, without the complication of caring about the cause. Subscribe to Battlepedia for more of the history nobody teaches you. Hit the bell, new video every week. And comment below, should private military contractors be regulated like national armies? The debate is very much alive right now. See you next week. The uncomfortable truth. There's a reason nation-states have always had a complicated relationship with mercenaries. They're useful, and they're dangerous. Useful because they provide professional military capacity without the political cost of casualties to your own citizens. A dead mercenary generates less domestic political pressure than a dead national soldier. Dangerous because a force that fights for pay can always be outbid. The condottiere who serves you today can serve your enemy tomorrow. That tension between the utility and the unreliability of hired force has never been resolved in 3,300 years of mercenary history. The medieval Italian city-states tried to solve it by rotating mercenaries frequently. Never let them get too comfortable. Never let them get too powerful. It worked until it didn't. In 1450, Francesco Sforza, a condottiere, took the city of Milan as his own. The hired general became the ruler. The mercenary story has a recurring ending. The hired muscle eventually decides it doesn't need the hiring party anymore. From Sforza in Milan to Wagner Group in various African capitals, the pattern repeats. Useful, profitable, temporarily loyal. That's the mercenary. In every era, under every flag, for whoever's paying.